Have you ever felt like you're too overwhelmed to go away? Like you really want the holiday, the new experiences, and the break from normal life, but you don't want the researching, packing, airport, unfamiliar bed, disrupted routine, constant decisions, or not knowing what might go wrong?
If that's you, you're in the right place. Welcome back to Too Much Apparently, a podcast for deep feeling, overthinking, emotionally overloaded humans who've been told they're too much apparently.
We're Alice and Carly, two deep-feeling therapists figuring out how to live in a world that often feels like a lot.
This isn't therapy or advice, just honest, messy, human conversations about life, healing, and our own brains. And if you want more of the conversation, we're building a little community over on Substack with journal prompts, community chats, live event updates, and fellow muchlings to connect with. Go to toomuchapparently.com for all the links.
So let's get into it.
So I think I don't struggle with holidays, but also when I think about it, I really do.
I think I don't want to admit that I struggle with holidays because I want to be like, yeah, I just love travel and I love going to all of these places and I'm so cultured and I'm such a seer of the world. I don't know how to phrase that. And there's truth in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do struggle with things when I go away. I think it's just that I don't want to admit even to myself that I struggle with things when I go away.
I definitely like to plan a lot when I go away. So I'm definitely not somebody who can just... So my next door neighbour got one of those surprise holidays where you don't know where you're going maybe until you turn up at the airport or something. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Or to the very last minute anyway. No way. No way. I want to know where we're going, the specific address of the hotel, how do we get there, what's around, like where's the nearest supermarket, what might we eat every single day. Yeah, I like to have it all planned out.
Yeah. See, again, there's part of me that feels like I would like that, the surprise, but I don't know if I want to like a surprise and would I actually like a surprise. I'm very good at romanticizing things in my head. So the idea of turning up to an airport and not knowing where you're going and all that just sounds like a really cool thing to do. And where will you end up? Like the idea of it in my head sounds really cool. And yet I do holidays the exact same way you just described. So I'm almost intrigued to maybe do it at some point to actually see, would I be on board with that or not? But then my partner planned a little trip for my birthday at the end of last year, just somewhere in this country. And that was kept as a surprise because I did that for his birthday. I gave him clues along the way, and so he did the same to me. But in between, when I was getting the clues, I was just asking him loads of questions. He was like, this is really defeating the object of it being a surprise and me giving you clues. Like, you'd need to just stop asking me questions now. And it's like, I can't help myself.
When you said about you'd like to try a surprise, just my stomach was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. There are parts of me that are like, oh, but I want to be that spontaneous and cool. And yeah, it's like an inattention of part of me could do it. Part of me thinks, oh yeah, that's fun and cool and spontaneous. But another part of me is like, it would just be too stressful. It would just be too stressful not knowing what's around and where I need to be and specifically what I need to pack.
Well, that's, I guess, the difference if like someone else knows what's going on. They're still going to have to tell you like what you need to pack or something.
Suppose.
You know, you can't turn up in Iceland with bikinis, can you?
That feels like putting a lot of trust in somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so much of what we've started to talk about opening the podcast is uncertainty.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing you mentioned was about surprise places. That means there's so much uncertainty and that actually you like to know all of the information. And I am the same. I like to know all of the information too.
Yeah. And part of me is like, I can feel sometimes when we do these podcasts, I don't think too much about other people, but sometimes I can feel other therapists, so particularly therapists that specialize in anxiety, going, oh, well, she's got a problem with uncertainty, so, you know, she needs to deal with that. But I don't think it is so much that. I feel like it is an autistic thing of if I don't have all of this information, I will probably have a meltdown. And don't want that to happen. That's not very nice. Like, it's not very nice anyway, ever, but it's certainly not nice if you're on holiday. So
Yeah.
I would just rather know what is going on.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are some things that we're going to talk about going away, where some of those things might lean more into anxiety
Mm-hmm.
and might well be things that people could work on if they wanted to and maybe become less anxious about.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think you have to be really careful not to pathologize struggling with uncertainty
Mm-hmm.
because of people's neurotype.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just because of differences in personality, some people like surprise and spontaneity, and some people really don't. And actually, that's okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just something to be mindful of as we're talking about this, and for people who are listening,
Mm-hmm.
that there may well be some things that we talk about that could arguably be anxiety that maybe stretching your comfort zone might help with. But I don't want to pathologize it either, that some of this is about needs and just about our personal preferences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe, like most things, there's just a lot of nuance to it. And some things come down to, do you take enjoyment over the planning and getting all the information? Does it elicit stress? Does it elicit anxiety? Are there supports you can have for yourself? Different ways to look at it, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like it has been a bit of trial and error. I have travelled and been fine. So it made me think about a conference that I went to earlier this year. I knew I was going to find the conference stressful. So a couple of weeks before the conference, I went to stay at the hotel to familiarise myself with the hotel so that at least the hotel would be familiar.
Oh, you didn't tell me you did that
Oh, well,
when
there
you
you
went.
go. Well, okay, it was one of my uni weekends. So I just stayed there for my uni weekend instead of staying in the city centre like I usually do.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
idea.
Yeah, it was really helpful. And yeah, it was just a really helpful thing to do.
Yeah, I
And
can see why that would be helpful.
obviously, I can't do that if I'm going to Spain or something.
Yeah, you get 2 holidays. I'd do yeah, good idea. There's something clever about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to go on my own without my partner and without my kids, just to suss out the place just for a few days first, and then we'll go again.
Yeah. There have been times where I've traveled. I think this is why I was saying about being a bit conflicted about this at the beginning. It's like when I've traveled in the past, sometimes I've been absolutely fine. I've talked before about enjoying making lists. When I pack to go on holiday, I have lists of my lists because I have so many lists. And I enjoy that. Yeah, it was easier to do that when I wasn't working. It's a lot harder to do that when I'm tired from working all week and then trying to do all of the planning that you need to do to pull off a family holiday. But yeah, it was enjoyable. And everything was organized. I knew we were going to have everything that we need. I'd thought about everything. So parts of me are like, oh no, travel's fine for me. I don't struggle with that at all. And then I'm also thinking about once when we went on a plane and my children were quite small and it was awful. It was just me and my husband were like bickering in the airport and it was horrible. It was really not very nice. And I think that's because we were both, didn't know what to expect. And airports are stressful places, aren't there? There's people walking around with guns. I don't like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, what do you think it is? Let's just speak more broadly
Mm.
now. What do you think it is for those of us who are maybe more sensitive, more particular, neurodivergent? What is it about planning, preparing, and leaving to go on a holiday that is overwhelming?
I guess just that there's so much, isn't there? There's just so much to think about. Yeah, so just one tiny, tiny example. If I go away and sleep anywhere, I have to take my eye mask and my earplugs because I can't sleep. That's just one little aspect of being more sensitive to my environment that I have to think about when I'm going away.
Mm.
And I think there's just so many little things like that.
Yeah, that's a good one to start with. So, environmental sensitivities that then you have
Mm,
to prepare for
mm,
travel.
mm-hmm.
So, if you are affected by light when you sleep, so you said your, what are
Eye
they called
mask.
again? Eye
Eye
mask.
mask.
Sleep suit was in my head, and I was like, that's not the right word.
Wow.
Not the right word. Okay, so yeah, eye mask. If you're sensitive to noise, then you might need earplugs. Earplugs hurt my ears. I have tried and spent a lot of money on many different types of earplugs, and they all hurt my ears. I can't wear them for longer than one night. So I am usually requesting a quiet room or a room at the top when there's multiple levels in a hotel, for example, but there's still some uncertainty of are you actually going to get that? Are they going to put you on the side that's near the busy road? Are you going to be next to like a boiler room or something that makes a lot of noise?
Mm.
So you can request it, but you still don't know how that's going to work out.
Mm.
So there's noise, there's light. I really struggle with washing powders. At
Okay.
home, I have to use very specific washing powder and softener, so I don't know if I'm going to be itchy or have a reaction to the bed sheets that I'm sleeping in. If it's in this country and you can take a lot, sometimes I might just take my own bedding. But abroad, I'm not packing bedding in my suitcase. So it's just something that I have to hope is going to be okay. Same with how rooms are cleaned. If they use strong smelling stuff, that can then affect me. So I have to be prepared for that. And because I live with chronic pain, I have to sometimes be prepared to take things with me to cope that if I'm going to be in pain at home, I sleep on like a special orthopedic pillow. Again, in this country, I'll take it with me. I'm not taking one abroad. So that might be something to contend with. Yeah, now that I'm saying it, there's just so many different things that could pop up.
Yeah. Well, just the bed specifically is one that really gets me. So if they're too hard, that's no good. If it's too soft, that's no good. And obviously nothing's going to change that. When they say it's a king size bed and you get there and it turns out it's a double and then you're really close to your partner, like, no, I need lots of space to
Mm.
sleep. Yeah,
Or a
there's
twin that's pushed together so there's you
a
fall in the
gap down the
middle.
middle.
There's a gap, like
Yeah, yeah. So there's so many things, aren't there? I think food is another huge one. Like if you've got quite particular food needs, that's really
yeah.
stressful.
And actually just bringing it back to environment,
Mm.
I've realized how much I don't really know how to put it into words. I almost want to say like visual sensitivities, like what my environment looks like and how I
Mhm.
feel in my
Yeah,
environment is really important.
yeah,
And I really don't know how to describe it except that it's important.
yeah.
So, a friend of mine, oh, actually, Sarah, who was on last week, how
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
We sometimes go away together in this country and she'll just go anywhere really. So if we're looking at an Airbnb, she'll just be like, oh yeah, this one's good. And she'll send it me. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm just like, oh no, no. And I can't really say why, but it's just not got the right vibe. It's not got the right look. I can't see myself feeling comfortable there.
Mm. Mhm.
So then usually she's like, yeah, you just pick because she's like, I'll go wherever. And I'm like,
Mm.
no, but there's just a way that something looks that I feel like, oh, that environment looks calming. That environment looks nice. I like the colors. So, when you're going abroad, I struggle with hotel rooms that look quite basic. But that's not me saying that I need to stay in luxury places. It's not me talking about luxury over basic. I can stay somewhere quite basic. It's just how that basicness looks.
Mm. Yeah, I get what you mean. It does feel hard to describe, but I do feel like I
Mm,
know what you mean. I've spent the last year obviously staying away at uni once a month and to some extent have had to just deal with it because my choice of where I'm staying has largely been dictated by my budget and staying anywhere on a Saturday night in a city is not cheap. Yeah, it can just be a bit of a miserable experience if the
mm.
room is not relaxing.
Just not, it's not right. There's just something
Yeah,
about
just
it.
not right.
Yeah, yeah, just not right.
Mm.
Yeah. But also we've jumped the gun a bit to preparing and what you might need to think about and take, just rewinding to planning.
Mhm.
For those of us who are very detail orientated, who are quite conscientious, we might find we're the ones there with our spreadsheets of comparing all the hotels that we've seen and the apartment options that we've seen and all the flight
Mhm.
details and the different times. And is that going to optimize the time that we're going to have there traveling? just going to book a holiday can end up being quite stressful and overwhelming if you're someone that needs to make sure that you're thinking of all the different options, that you're getting the best deal, putting it all together. That in and of itself could be like a lot. Whereas some people might just look on a couple of websites and be like, oh, yeah, that looks nice. Book.
That'll do. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah. And just kind of, yeah, sat with that kind of tension of I do genuinely enjoy doing that. I think I don't perhaps realize when I'm doing it how much energy it takes out of me to do it. And it takes a
Mm,
lot.
yeah. Yeah. Whereas I would say at the start, I enjoy it. And I
Mm.
don't realize that this has become too much now. I've made it too overwhelming
Yeah.
because there are infinite options. At what point do you stop?
Yeah.
And I think it's that I often stop too late because I'm going to take it back to the everyday perfectionism episode. Sometimes it's a belief that if I just keep looking, I'll find something better, or that's a better offer, or that saves me a bunch of money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, especially if you don't get to go away very often, you
Yes.
really want it to be right.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I've missed out on things because I've been going over and over and over and over, and then the one that was closest to the thing that I wanted is booked.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Ah, so annoying.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what about then the actual travel part? You mentioned about airports being stressful.
Mm,
What might we struggle with? I'm thinking of, let's say you're going away in this country, long drives, how people might feel
mhm,
about trains, buses,
mm,
airplanes, just the actual
mm,
traveling part.
mhm. So I think that's one of the things that I don't mind so much.
Hmm.
I love a long drive. So one of my favourite places in the world is Orkney, which from where I live is at least a 10-hour drive, if not a 12-hour drive, plus an hour long
Mm.
ferry.
Wow.
Um, so when we've gone in the past, we've driven overnight and we'd arrive in the morning. But yeah, I quite like that. Like I just lock in, as my kids would say. I just lock in. I'd put some, I put some dance music on and just drive, and that would be okay. But I know lots of people don't like that. How do you find traveling in this country?
In this country, I'd say I don't love it and I don't hate it. It's difficult. Again, like it's a chronic pain trigger, just being stuck in the car for a long period of time. Also, if I'm a driver, it's more likely to increase my pain. So then it's better I'm a passenger. But if I'm a passenger, I'm bored as hell. There's not enough stimulation going on to keep me entertained. When I was a child, I was just known for going to sleep. Whatever the time of day it was, if we were traveling somewhere, I would be asleep in the back, and my sister would be in the front helping to navigate. And then I'd just wake up, be like, oh, are we there? Having not done anything at all.
That sounds like a
Because,
dream.
yeah, it was just, I just would go to sleep. I would also struggle with travel sickness.
Mm,
So I can't read in the car. I can't, even just glancing on my phone for a bit makes me feel sick. Like I don't even have to be on it for long. So I can't
mm,
do anything.
mm.
So when I was a kid, I'd just sleep in the back. As an adult, if someone else is driving, my partner will say, just go to sleep. But it's like you feel like you need to offer support for the person that's doing the driving.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of the roads in this country and the traffic jams you can get stuck in, just, I am fine traveling a long distance when you just drive. Like most people, traffic jam, oh, I want to just pull my hair out. I hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it, hate it, hate it. But when it comes to other travel, like when it comes to going on aeroplanes, it's not that I find it crazy stressful, but I can't relax until I've got into the hotel on the other side,
Yeah. Okay.
I would
Yeah.
say. It has, however, been easier in recent years. Not that I've actually gone abroad much in the past few years, but when I have, it has been easier. So, since being diagnosed as autistic and ADHD, I have used the sunflower lanyard to go through the fast security lane,
Hmm.
which makes things so much better.
Mm.
So, so much better. Not only that, but also I get faint when I'm stood on the spot. So, queuing, I get anxious about queuing because when I queue, it makes me ill.
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
So, airports are a nightmare for having to just stand in queues. And if I do have to stand in queues, as you inevitably sometimes do. I'm usually the one sat on the floor like all the children because I have to sit on the floor so I don't feel like I'm going to faint. So it's more things like that, the impact of those things on my health are the things that stress me and bother me. But the actual travel and being in an airplane, I quite like that. I don't really mind that part.
Mm. Yeah, just find airports just so stressful. Like I said, I don't like the police with the guns. That just freaks me out. I'm just convinced that one of them is going to accidentally shoot somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the security bit.
Mm.
I think once I'd taken a boyfriend's perfume with me. It's not called perfume for boys, is it? But you know what I mean? Because I missed him so much. Uh, but I took it in my hand luggage and they just put it in the bin.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's
no.
it. It's invasive, isn't it? Like when they scan you and
Mm.
oh no, I don't like that. I don't want to be touched. And even being on the plane. So again, part of me loves flying. Absolutely love it. I love like when you take I love it when it's a cloudy day and you take off and you go through the clouds and the blue sky on the other side of the clouds. I love that. But yeah, there's something about being restricted. Like you've got to sit in your seat and you've got to
Mhm.
have your seatbelt on and oh no, don't
Yeah.
like that. It really does feel like a mix for me. I feel like it's worth it.
Mm.
I do feel like it's worth it. I'm definitely not at the point where I feel like it's not worth traveling, although I do work with some people that feel that way. And I think that's fine. If that's, if it really doesn't work for you, there's no need to push yourself to do it.
Mhm.
Do you know what I think it comes down to for me is about how comfortable I am or not with making accommodations for myself. So when you
Mhm.
said about the sunflower, is it sunflower lanyard?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I could see it in my head, but the flowers were changing to daisies and I was confusing myself. Yeah, there's part of me that feels like, oh no, I'm not autistic enough to need that,
Mhm.
whatever that means. I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, but if a client was going through it, I know what I'd tell them to do. But there's that kind of like, how comfortable am I making this accommodation? How comfortable am I saying, no, I definitely need this. Like when we arrive, I need to go and have a look around and figure out, where things are and whatever. So yeah, which feels like it's an ongoing process of like, how comfortable am I with these various things? And then another layer of it for me is the competing needs. So with my children, some need absolute quiet, some need to run around and be noisy. So that can be really difficult to accommodate that. Part of the reason that we've not been back to Orkney for a while is one of my children doesn't now like going in the car. So
Right. Oh, it must be so much more complicated when you're having to take into account, yeah, all the people in your family's different needs.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
different wants, needs, and different accommodations, and what's possible and what things are just simply not possible to do. Like you probably can't accommodate for everyone's different needs.
no, not at all.
So then it means some people are going to have to, yeah, try to cope with some things or might be struggling with some elements. And then it's how do you deal with that? And that must be a lot harder than just having to think about your own stuff.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me then think about so then because we're out of routine and because we don't have everything that everybody wants, they're more likely to get dysregulated,
Mm.
which then makes it all more stressful. And then it falls into, oh, but this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And I've done all of this planning and I thought I'd figured it all out. And this is supposed to be fun and it's still stressful. And that's not anything against like my children. My children are fine to have, those needs. And there's also, and it still has an impact on me. So yeah, I think that's a really difficult feeling, isn't it? That the pressure to have a good time. Like
The pressure to
holidays,
have a good time. Yeah, massively
yeah.
so.
They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be light-hearted. They're supposed to be like restful and relaxing. And no, I feel like I need days to recover after I get back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, I'm not surprised. And I guess the only thing I can really relate that to for me is going away on group family
Mm.
holidays or where everybody is staying in the same villa.
Hmm.
And that can equally be difficult. So with me saying the visual and the feel of a place is important, if you've ever gone away on a group holiday, you've always got like the nice rooms and then like the crappier rooms. And
Mm.
it's like, who's going to get the nice rooms and who's going to get the crappier rooms? And it's never decided beforehand who's going in what room. At least it never has been in any family trip I've ever gone on. So I've always been a bit on edge, like, oh, but I don't know where my space is.
Mm.
And I think this is why it's important to me because it's not just the room that I'm going to be sleeping in,
Mhm.
it's where's going to be my space. And one of the things I always have to do whenever I go away is as soon as I get there and I'm checked into whatever room or apartment that I'm staying in, I have to unpack everything. So it's like I live there.
Yeah.
Whereas I've gone away with people before where the first thing they do is let's dump the cases in the room and get down to the pool or something. And I'm like, no, let's unpack everything, make sure everything has its place and has its home. Now I'm settled. Now I can go down to the pool.
Mm.
And there's just something about I have to make it my space. Has to
Mm.
feel like it's mine, not just a random hotel room that anyone's been in. But nope, this now feels like my space. It's got my stuff in it.
Mm.
And it just, yeah, you know how I said I can't really relax till I get there? I think the
Mhm.
truth is I can't really relax till I've done that. And then it's just like
Yeah.
I can go, oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm here. And now,
Mhm.
now I can do the holiday.
Yeah. I think that's good to know, isn't it? I think like the more that you know about what you're going to need is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I guess that's when knowing what it is that you need to do for yourself, that helps you to feel better, that helps you to get in holiday mode or to feel like, okay, now I'm here, regardless of what that is. And knowing that it's okay. It's okay if you're the sort of person that dumps your cases and gets straight down the beach or something. And it's also okay if, as soon as you get there, you need to unpack everything, or you need to shower, or you need to have a snooze from all of the travel before you do anything.
Yeah.
It's just knowing that however you need to do it is okay.
Mm.
But I think that comes back to what you were talking about before about pressure and expectations. So, because of my health stuff, so I work with clients who also live with chronic health issues. And so when they travel, they might build in a hotel day in the middle to rest and recuperate and sleep. And you'll know this yourself as a therapist. This is one of those things that you don't ever want to admit out loud because you worry about being judged. But you know where you realize that, like, oh yeah, my clients are doing this better than what I'm doing this.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Where I'm like, yes, that's so good to build in, have a day where you stay in the hotel. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And yet, I know for myself that is something that would be really helpful, but it feels like I'm not making the most out of my holiday. I've spent a lot of money on this. I can't have a whole day where I'm just in my hotel room, not making the most of this holiday and everything.
Mm.
So, seriously, clap my hands to people who have been able to figure that out for themselves and be able to
Mm.
overcome that to do it.
Yeah.
But I haven't managed to do anything like that for myself yet. I'm very much still in got to make the most out of it mode.
Yeah. I feel like I'm constantly talking to my clients about grief. And this feels like yet another thing to grieve. I would not have the capacity to do something every single day. There's no way. I would need to have a down day or
Hmm.
yes, or some significant downtime. And there is then a letting go of what I thought holidays would be like for me, or what I can see other people around me doing, or what friends are talking about when they come back from their holidays, or, any number of things. It's more grieving.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. There can be such a difference between how you want to do things in your head
Mm.
versus what you can actually do,
Mm.
or whether you like it or not, where you've just got these needs.
Mhm.
Yeah. And how many years do we spend just pushing through that, not wanting to look at it, not wanting to accept it, just
Yeah,
push through it anyway? It's so difficult.
it is. It is. And I feel like it's been years and years of trying to ignore it and then paying the price for it. That's the only, like, I've learned the hard way. There's no two ways about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that if I don't stop my body will make me stop.
Yeah.
And that's no fun for anybody then.
No. And I do think that is why I usually need a bit of a recovery period after I've had a holiday or trip.
Hmm.
It baffles me how people can go on a holiday and land on a Sunday evening and then go to work Monday morning.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say about that except how.
Yeah. Yeah.
How I need a few days to recuperate from the holiday and from the travel and coming back.
Yeah.
But I always feel wrong for needing that because I've just had a holiday. You don't need to recover from a holiday. The holiday is supposed to be the recovery period. So
Yeah.
why do I need to build in recovery time
Mm.
after a holiday?
Yeah.
It just feels like another one of those things that I shouldn't need.
Mm. I think it's part of why we haven't been on holiday for a while, is because you would then have to, you only have so much time that you can take off.
Mm.
You're then having to take off extra time. I obviously can set my own holidays, although there is a cost to that. I don't get any holiday pay. I have to cover that myself. But yeah, if you're employed, you only get 4 or 5 weeks a year. So if you take a week off and then you're taking an extra few days off, like it all adds up, doesn't it?
Mhm.
And yet there is that transition, yeah, I was thinking about it like transitioning back into your normal life. This is another reason why I haven't been on holiday for a while, is because in some ways, actually, I find going on holiday easier because, for example, if you go on holiday, you've only got your stuff that you've taken in your suitcase. You haven't got all of your stuff, right?
Mhm.
So when I come home, I'm coming back home to my chaotic, cluttered house, and that's really overstimulating. And I
Right.
miss the simplicity of only having a week's worth of clothes, 2 books, and my iPad.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there was a point when life was particularly stressful that I couldn't tolerate the how stressful I found it to come home. So I said to my husband, I can't cope with going away because I can't cope with coming home.
Yes.
So that was really hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, massively so. I feel like there's so many different things in that as to why that could be the case. Yeah, firstly, I just want to touch upon transitions,
Mm.
autistic people in particular, but also generally more sensitive people. We can struggle with transitions and we might need a bit of time to adjust. So that can mean it might take us a couple of days to adjust once we've got on the holiday. And then it might take us a couple of days to adjust when we get back. I remember always feeling like a week's holiday was just what a waste of time is maybe a bit maybe a bit much. But I remember I would just start to feel settled and in the groove, and then it's time to be coming home. So it always felt like, no, a week is insufficient. I'm only just getting into the groove, and now you're telling me I've got to come back. So I think the transition part can be really difficult.
I was just saying something similar to my husband the other day about weekends. This is a slight aside, but it's a similar kind of thing. I was like, I feel like instead of having 5 days on and 2 days off, we should have 10 days on and 4 days off. Like 10 days on in a row would be a lot. Like it would. But then you'd have like a day to collapse, 2 days to have a weekend, a day to prepare, and then go again. Whereas I feel like with
Yes.
weekends, it's like, yeah, by the time you've started to relax, it's time to prepare to go back to work again. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's no time at all. I think that's why I've had a 3-day weekend for years now.
Mm.
When I was younger, I used to work still full time, but I'd compress it to work in 4 days. Just to need that 2 days it's nothing. It's nothing at all. So yeah, well, I'm not in agreement with doing 10-day stretches. I would just more like keep promoting a 4-day working week, probably.
Mm.
But yes, I agree with the sentiment of that. With you talking about the simplicity of not having as much with you, that's an interesting one because there's this idea that minimalism might go really well with ADHDers to
Mm.
reduce clutter, to reduce having so many things. There's less things to keep on top of. You maybe have 2 plates 2 bowls and just like a handful of knives and forks. And with the idea being that it's less overwhelming, it then involves less executive functioning kind of tasks, simplifies everything. And a few prominent ADHD influencer type people have like really sort of recommended it and said that it's really changed a lot for them. So it just reminded me of that there is something pleasant for you in the simplicity of having a smaller number of items and of clothing to keep track of, and then what that is like for you when you come home and then you have all your stuff.
But if you tried to separate me from all my stuff at home, I'd be very sad.
Right.
So it's really
Yeah.
hard. It's like, I think I could, yeah, I can only have the simplicity of it because I know I've still got all my stuff at home.
So
Yeah.
basically, you
I
you
need a
could do
container.
minimalism. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You need a massive storage unit so that you know you still have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's out of the way.
Yes. So we spoke about general things about travel and going on holidays, but one of the things we've not spoken about is when things can go wrong, and they do go wrong. Your plane is
hmm
delayed. Like that's so common.
hmm
Your plane gets delayed. What happens if you've got a connection flight and it might mean you might miss your connection flight? What
hmm
happens if you go to your hotel and they've overbooked, but they've got you in their partner hotel down the road? There can just be a lot of sudden change that you
Yeah.
have to navigate that is put on you. And that's before we even get to just flights totally being cancelled or something, your holiday being cancelled and things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, even just those, whether they're smaller inconveniences, like your plane's delayed an hour versus the bigger ones,
hmm
yeah, it's hard to not find travel anxiety provoking and stressful when you also know that things can go wrong. Is this going to go smoothly?
Yeah. So when you started talking about this, I was like, oh yeah, but normally when we go on holiday, we drive. So this, doesn't really happen. It absolutely does happen. Like when we've gone to France and driven to France, there's strikes on with that affect the ferries. Once when we drove to Orkney, we drove up for Christmas. So at 11 o'clock on the 23rd of December, my clutch went on my car 50 miles south of Inverness.
No.
So I was 7 months pregnant, 4 children in the car, pitch black, middle of nowhere, rural Scotland, and my clutch went. That
Oh,
was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. That took us 24 hours to get home. My sister had to go and do a Christmas food shop for me, like supermarket sweep, just whacking anything that she could find. But yeah, we were just powerless to do anything really. They didn't put us up in a hotel. We just had to sit in a hotel reception waiting for the next pickup truck to pick us up. It was like a relay, one pickup truck to the next.
that
So yeah,
sounds horrendous.
yeah. So things really can go horribly wrong. Evidently, from how I initially responded to your question, I just put those things out of my head and pretend they didn't happen. I suppose it's then like the accumulation of stresses, isn't it?
Mm,
And how can you keep yourself calm or okay or support yourself through all of these different changes and yeah, like just little things like yeah, so maybe there's a change, maybe your flight's only delayed by an hour, but you already didn't know which gate you were, which direction it was, how many, how long it's going to take you to walk around the airport, if you're going to be on time or where's the toilet or whatever, whatever. It just all adds up. It all adds up.
yeah, it really does. And actually, I'm going to bring this back to your point about the sunflower lanyards,
Mm,
because a few years ago, when I was going abroad on my own, and it was the first time I'd been abroad since COVID, and it was the first time I was considering doing the sunflower lanyard scheme.
mhm.
And like yourself, I had serious reservations about using it. I didn't feel disabled enough. And I kept coming back to the point of, but I can do it the normal way. I can go through it. Like, I can do it. I've done it
Mm,
many times. So if I can do it, I shouldn't use that lane. Like, surely that lane is for people who cannot do it,
mhm,
but I can do it.
mhm.
And I was actually talking to my clinical supervisor about this, who, of course, challenged me on that. Because the difference is, it comes back to just because you can technically do something
Mm.
Doesn't mean that that's something that you should push yourself through if the cost to you is going to be a lot greater than the cost would be to somebody else. And
Mm.
so, yes, maybe you can technically do it. But if we go back to the analogy of your cup and how full your cup is of stuff, before your cup overfills, there's too much in there. Airport travel probably fills up a good chunk in most people's cups. There aren't many people who would say that airport travel is not remotely stressful. It's not great for most people. So that is going to fill like everyone's cup up. However, if you're someone who already lives with health issues, if you're neurodivergent, if certain things affect you more than other people, before you've even stepped foot in the airport, your cup's already a lot fuller. Then you put being in the airport on top of that. You might be able to be okay going through everything the normal way. But what if you get to the other side and then your plane is delayed? Or what if you land and the coach that's come to transfer you to the airport is broke down and isn't coming for a certain number of hours? Other people will still have enough room left in their cup to be able to then handle challenges that might come their way. But for others, our cups might already be full before you even bring in anything else. So if something else comes in and it overflows your cup and your stress levels are super high, if it leads you to have a meltdown or a shutdown or a panic attack, or it's going to spark off your chronic health issues that are then going to impact the rest of your holiday, if it's going to take you a few days to recover from that, then surely that provides enough reason to know that you should use the sunflower lane. I just wanted to put that out there as something that helped me to then actually use it, that just because I can technically do it the way that everyone else is doing it, doesn't mean that, well, then you should then.
Yeah. I feel like there's so much to it. I feel like there's the external judgment, like imagining what other people are going to think if they're queuing in a longer queue and then I go past in that faster queue. I feel like there's an identity thing of
Mm-hmm.
accepting that actually I can't, or the cost of doing it the air quotes normal way is too high or could be too high for me. Yeah, there's so much to it and it is tricky, isn't it?
Or, yeah, all of that,
Mm.
all of that. And I have used it and I have used it since, and I sit with all of that as I'm using it.
Mm. Yeah.
It's not that I'm now comfortable to do so, it's more that I'll do it and I still have all those thoughts and
Mhm.
worries and things like that.
Mhm.
But it takes a lot to go away on holidays. Holidays are expensive now.
Mm.
It's not like pre COVID where actually you could go abroad for quite a reasonable price. Like anywhere you go now, it's going to take a good amount of your income to go.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I just think it's really important to meet our needs so that we can have as better a travel experience as possible
Yeah.
and enjoy what we're spending our money on as much as possible,
Mhm.
whilst at the same time trying to alleviate pressure for it to be a certain way as well. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
it all just sounds a bit tricky.
Well, what I'm thinking about as you're talking is how many times have we been told throughout our lives that we're making a fuss, that you just get on with it, just pull yourself together, like any number of those things. They're all of the things underneath the like finding it difficult to use accommodations.
Yeah.
That actually, if we hadn't been told so many times, oh, you're too sensitive, oh, you're making a fuss, oh, da 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 da, da, maybe it would be easier to just accept that we need what we need and we wouldn't have that pressure to do things the air quotes normal way.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And like you said before, there is also a lot of deeper themes there around ableism, around
Mm.
identity,
Mhm.
around what it means to need those things,
Mm.
and grief.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah. It feels like kind of what I've got in my head is that it's that Daily Mail voice again. And it's like, oh, well, nobody likes queuing, do they? And it's like, right, yeah, nobody likes queuing, but some people can cope with queuing. It doesn't have a massive impact on their day. Whereas for somebody else, queuing might mean that they're so overwhelmed that they can't cope with the rest of their day, or the rest of their day is so miserable that it almost wasn't worth going. Like
Hmm.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is definitely that voice. It's like what I said before, that voice said, well, nobody likes the airport. you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah, it is difficult. Yeah, there's a lot of those internal voices,
Mm,
those internal messages
mm,
that we just have to combat and overcome to just be able to meet our needs.
mm,
It's quite, yeah, it's quite sad, really, how entrenched those things are that mean we deny ourselves or push through at a cost to
mm.
our own physical or mental well-being.
Yeah.
So, how can we start to challenge some of those messages and think about what our needs really are when we travel? What accommodations do we need for ourselves? Or what things do we just need to accept that we
Mm,
need to do
mm,
so that we can enjoy the parts of travel that we enjoy?
mm,
Because traveling really leans into my novelty seeking side, my love for
mm,
adventure. I come alive when I'm walking through cities and I hear people speaking different languages, and there's
mm,
different foods, different smells, different ways of doing things, different architecture. There's just so much to see and do that, yeah, it sends my dopamine crazy.
mm.
I love it. It's just that, my more sensitive and autistic part
Mhm.
needs things also to be done a certain way so that I can then lean into the part that loves adventure.
I'm always sad now that we haven't made more time to talk about the positives about
Yes.
traveling because there are so many. It made me think about the peacefulness when I finally get to Orkney. It's like literally as soon as my car is off the ferry, like the air is cleaner for a start.
Mm.
It just feels so good.
Well,
So
tell me
yeah.
what you do love. Let's just make a little bit of space. What
Oh
do you
gosh.
love?
I think a lot of things that you said, there absolutely is the novelty, isn't there? There's like, yeah, seeing how different people live, like the different scenery, the different feel of the place, like all the different things that you'd never thought of. I love a foreign supermarket. I love
Right.
there's so much to love about it, which is why I think I've never got to the point of feeling like this isn't worth it.
Mm.
Um, and even when I said before, like in the past, when I was saying to my husband, I can't face going away because I can't face coming home, I knew that wouldn't be forever. I knew it would just be because we were going through so much. It was like, I can't do this added stress on top. There is so much to love about it. I think there's something about finding somewhere that you have a real affinity with. Like to me, Orkney feels like another home. There's absolutely no reason why. Got no connection to the place. Didn't go there. I think I was 24, 25 maybe when I went there for the first time. But just straight away, I feel like I belong here.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Right. I
Mm.
love the country Greece.
Mm.
I love the history. I love its connection to the past and science and
Mm.
philosophy. I love the language. I spent quite a bit of time learning Greek. That makes me sound way cooler than I actually am. I can
What
only
can you
speak
say?
the very basic things.
Can you say something in Greek?
Yes, hang on, let me actually think. Θα ήθελα ένα νερό παρακαλώ.
And what does that mean?
It means I would like one water, please.
Very nice.
Just literally little snippets and stuff, a
Hmm.
bit like that. You wouldn't
Yeah.
think I learned it for 2 years and that's what I can say.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
there is a whole new alphabet to learn.
Yes, that is true.
Um, yeah, so I've been there quite a few times. So I just feel really
Mm.
comfortable there. You kind of know what you're going to get.
Mm.
And Italy, because my safe foods are pasta and pizza. So
Right.
Italy is just heaven
Yeah.
for not having to worry about food. It's
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many different pros depending on where it is that you travel and what you might get from those places, which is why I also, for myself, feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
But bringing it back to supports,
Hmm.
I do think quite a lot of it actually is just around acceptance of things. So,
Mm.
firstly, if you need to do things a certain way, that's fine. If you need to take certain things with you that other people don't take, like bedding, that's fine. If you love learning about the culture, say, for example, their food, but actually you like to find out about it, but you still need to eat the food that you're comfortable with and not eat the local cuisine, that's fine. If you need to request a quiet room, you're not being difficult, it meets your needs, that's fine. If you want to try and use the sunflower lane at the airport, that's fine. Yeah, so I think a lot of it is maybe just sometimes just around acceptance, around the way in which you need to do things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a learning process, isn't it? It can be trial and error, figuring out sometimes what's a need and what's a want.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes it can be, like I said, learning the hard way that some things are a need when you wanted them to be a want, that you wanted to be able to do without it. But if it's a need, it's a need.
Hmm.
And either you meet that need or you pay the price for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do agree with you there. Sometimes we do learn from the more negative experiences of, oh, okay, this is what I do need for
Mm.
myself then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not being afraid to request certain things or sometimes to complain about certain things. You know,
Yeah.
if you are in a noisy room, how many people just think, oh, it's fine, I can put up with it. But, like,
Yeah.
well, why should you? Go
Yeah.
and ask.
Yeah.
Gosh, I feel like we've just touched the surface really on all of the things that kind of could help. And I feel like we've also just touched the surface on all the things that can make travel difficult. You know, we've not even touched upon things like navigating the temperature or the sun or the
Mm.
cold or activities or anything like that. So we might have to revisit this again because I just feel like there's so much more to say. But it's been enjoyable to talk about.
It has. And we can also put some things to think about in our Substack journal reflections. So if you want to think more about it, come and join us there as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So if you've ever felt like you're too overwhelmed to go away, like you want the holiday but wish you could somehow skip the researching, packing, airport, uncertainty and disruption involved in getting there,
Maybe that doesn't mean you're ungrateful, boring, or incapable of being spontaneous. Maybe travel places a lot of demands on your brain, body, and nervous system, even when the experience is something you genuinely want.
next time we're talking about being too worried about being liked. The pressure to come across well, avoid judgment, and get every social interaction right. From replaying what we said to worrying about how other people see us and post-socializing rumination.
Before we go, we'd love you to come and join our Substack community, Too Much Apparently. It's a little community space for fellow muchlings where we share journal prompts for every episode, host community chats, and share early updates on new episodes and live events. If you'd like to stay connected between episodes, go to toomuchapparently.com for all the links.
And if this episode made you feel a bit less alone, subscribe, rate the podcast, and follow @TooMuchApparently on Instagram and TikTok. Those small clicks help other sensitive humans find us.
But for now, we'll leave you with this. What would travelling look like if you stopped trying to do holidays the right way and planned them around what actually helps you feel safe, comfortable, and able to enjoy them?